and then we can start.
Sure.
Andy, would you please give me feedback? Do you have the screen? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then I think we can start. Then different people, then they can join later on. Let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to record this session for future. We can share for different people. Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone across the board. Welcome to today's webinar organized by IEEE Reliability Society, Switzerland chapter. My name is Ali Razi Kazemi. I am the chair of the Switzerland chapter. It is a pleasure to have you with us today. Today session focus on one of the most important subject on reliability, a kind of combination of the reliability and resiliency topic in power system. And we are pleased to welcome Dr. Reza Freydunian, Associate Professor of Kenti University of Technology. And before going to our talk, please let me to briefly explain about the IEEE and IEEE Reliability Society and Switzerland chapter. As you can see here, in order, as you might know, IEEE actually is comprised of the different society. One of the society is the IEEE actually Reliability Society. And different country, they have different chapter, and one of the chapter is this actually Switzerland chapter. If you are interested in to be a member of this, you should be a member of the IEEE. Then you can select being a member of the IEEE Society, and then you can freely be a member of the chapter. There are a lot of benefits out of this. I'm not going to take the time of this meeting out of that, but if you might have any question later on after the meeting, you can ask about this, how to be a member, or about the benefit, and about the rest. If you don't mind, yes, just in case, if you have any question over the actual presentation, you can write in the chat box, or after that, you can raise your hand and then ask the question. And I would like to warmly welcome actually the Dr. Alireza Freydunian and hand over the floor to you, Alireza. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Nice and happy to be here. Thank you, Dr. Razi Kazemi, for introduction.
Sorry, Alireza, will you please share your screen?
Yes. I will.
Turn on your camera. Sorry.
It should be actually, but how is that? Do you have my screen?
Yes.
All right.
I can see, yes, the screen share, yes.
Okay. The title is RELISILITY, an enterprise-wide approach to improvement of reliability and resiliency in energy systems and its realization. Holistic security is the essence of our talk, relating it to the major trend of the 21st century technology, as I call it, decentralized integration. So we're gonna talk about holism, integration, and unification. We will proceed with three sections: functional integration, structural integration, and then two-dimensional integration. And finally, a conclusion session. For the functional integration, we will talk about reliability, resiliency, reliability, the new term, and flexibility. Consider a situation in which, in the enterprise-wide budget allocation, uh, we have two managers. One of them is the head of the operations department, and the head of emergency department, which obviously the operations department is uh, asking for reliable operation in normal day matters. But on the other hand, the emergency department head uh, says, what about the catastrophes? So we have such a dispute between two uh, high managers in the company uh, uh, for their share of the budget. And obviously, both are important, and none of them shouldn't be uh, neglected. Uh, so let's talk about the situation. Uh, as I said, the reliability, which is the uh, uh, request of the operations manager, uh, is the ability, this is the formal and standard definition, the ability of an entity to perform a required function under given environment and operational conditions and for a stated period of time. And failure rates are the mathematical model instruments derived from the statistics and historical data in normal conditions. And on the other hand, resiliency is the ability of an entity to cope with the adversary and to return to the status, normal status, and the original status after the adversity. Uh, for the resiliency, on the other hand, against the failure rates, here we have fragility curves. Fragility curves are derived from the laboratory destructive tests normally in abnormal conditions. So we have two innately different concepts. As you see here, uh, reliability is about high probability and low impact situations and events, and resiliency is about low probability and high impact events. The approach for reliability is planned margins and centralized control, but for the resiliency, uh, the events is the emerges under extreme stress and require additional system capabilities. For the metrics we have for the reliability, metrics reflect everyday normal performance, but for resiliency metrics focus on recovery speed and economic impact of those major events. So we ask, can we settle this dispute over reliability and resiliency, uh, actually between those two top managers of the company? Uh, so we have a reliability oriented planning, which is based on the historical data in normal situation, like a white swan. Obviously, most of the swans are white. And while resiliency oriented planning is for catastrophic events which do not occur frequently, like a black swan, as Nassim Taleb states in his famous book. Therefore, it sounds like a methodological merger is scarcely considerable, since the two objectives are inherently different and in nature, and they depend on different variables. The reliability depends on the failure rates, while the resiliency depends on the fragility curves. However, we hope and we have approved that a decoupled dual planning with decision fusion might be plausible to solve this issue. Let's consider a case study which has been studied in the paper cited on the bottom of the page. We have the bus number 4 of the famous Roy Billington test system. This is an medium voltage bus, and as you see here, we have solved the switch location uh, optimization problem uh, by reliability oriented decision making and resiliency oriented decision making. The rectangles denote the resiliency oriented, and these red uh, triangles denote the switch locations for reliability oriented decision making. And as you see here, a good number of those found places for the switches are overlap. Uh, we can see on on feeder number 2, number 3, number 7, number 6, and two of them on feeder number 5 and 4. So, as you see, there is an overlap between the suggested switch locations by the two, as I say, dual independent decision-making processes. So, as we see, we ask again that question: could we settle this dispute over reliability and resiliency? And the answer is yes. Sounds like the decoupled dual planning with decision fusion is applicable by the following route. First, running two decoupled, dedicated, reliability oriented, and resiliency oriented uh, planning processes, and then prioritizing the overlapping answers, which is here the switches locations, within the reliability oriented and resiliency oriented answer sets. No, we have a set of answers which are valid for both reliability oriented and resiliency oriented planning. So we can use them for the that which no we which actually we have coined the term. It's a portmanteau term, uh, RELISILITY or RELISILITY, which is a combination of two terms, reliability, and borrowing some words from reliability and some words from resiliency, as you can see on the bottom of the slide. So uh, the reliability, which appears in the on the title of the talk, we know that what does it mean. So this is a somehow well-known and famous uh, uh, zoning of the situations, zoning of the events. If we have the horizontal axis for the probability and the vertical axis for the impact or consequence, and we have low from to high and low to high for both axes. For low probability and low impact, we have low priority events. For low probability and high low probability and high impact, we have resiliency zone for the which is the topmost left, and the uh, high probability and low uh, impact or consequence, we have the reliability zone. And when it is both of the probability and the impact are high, it's actually the escalating or compound risk zone. And so, by the reliability approach, we have uh, an assessment or planning from the resiliency zone and another assessment from the reliability zone, and then mix them or fuse them by decision fusion. Uh, I want to share with you a very nice article. It's actually an editorial of the IEEE Power and Energy magazine of the next previous issue, uh, written by the editor in chief, Professor Innocent Kamwa and Julia Matevosian. Uh, that it denotes a very insightful uh, uh, view regarding the reliability resiliency trade-off. And it is that what it acts like a adjustment knob. It's the flexibility assets, flexibility or network flexibility and or flexibility assets can be assumed toward either reliability or resiliency. I would recommend reading this very insightful article. By this insight, on the left side balance, we could see we have a balance between, or a trade off between reliability and resilience, which is made by flexibility as balancing capability, which could come from the distributed flexibility assets. This is the insight presented by that editorial uh, note. And on the right side, we have our suggestion that we could push both of those reliability and resilience by a co-optimization uh, trial, and trying to improve both of them. Okay, we talked about functional integration. Now we want to have another phase of integration in another axis, which is on structures. We have energy, which includes electricity and gas, and also water, which are immensely interdependent. So, any event on one side would cause events on the other side. And in a smart city or any kind of city, it would make a energy water nexus, which describes that power grid and water grid are linked to each other, and through using smart meters, IoT sensors, AI optimizations, and also the uh, other interdependencies of those two, or actually three, infrastructures. So, smart city is a fully functional, complex, adaptive system of systems, and reliability and resiliency is of electricity, gas, and water networks are interdependent due to their interoperabilities between them. Here we have a picture depicting uh, the some components of these nexus on power side, on gas side, and also on the water side. For example, for the power side, we have gas fuel generators, renewable resources, and so on. For gas, we have compressors, power to gas facilities, and gas energy storage. And for the water, we have pumps, water storage, and water treatment systems. Okay, we talked about a functional integration which merged or integrated reliability and resiliency, and a structural integration which integrated energy, including water and electricity and gas and water. Now we are going to uh, see a two-dimensional integration, which is multi-layered. As you see here, we have four layers. From the upper layer, we see the electricity distribution network. The second is natural gas distribution network. The third one is water distribution network, and the fourth one, which is the lower one, is the GIS infrastructure layer, which acts as the glue for all of those three systems. GIS is the uh, data and information infrastructure for to connect different locations within those three networks, which have different graphs, different grids. So here, by these four layers, we have structural integration, and for the functional integration, we have the plate on the right side of the figure, as you see, which is reliability, as was introduced, which is the combination of reliability and resiliency. So this is a layered, reliability-oriented water, electricity, gas nexus architecture. And here we present the, let's say, flow chart. Uh, we start with energy water nexus, technical and operational data, and then scenario generation, and then scenario reduction, and uh, decoupled planning of reliability and resiliency oriented plannings individually and in decoupled. And then results are fused. I mean, the decisions made by those two different plannings are fused together in a decision fusion by voting, which is actually weighted voting, and then it's a fused planning decision. And then we have a feasibility check. If it's feasible, it is approved, and if it's not feasible, we go back to the decision fusion and try the next candidate. So finally, we would have the reliability oriented planning and decision making. So we have a short glance at the mathematical model. It's the minimization of cost, capex, opex, CO2 emissions for the three systems: electricity distribution network, gas distribution network, and water distribution network. For energy infrastructures, we have PVs, wind turbines, and other things like BESS and so on. For the gas pipelines, we have Weymouth equation, and for the water pipelines, we have Darcy-Weisbach equations. And as it was stated in the flowchart, we fuse those decisions made in reliability-oriented decisions and resiliency-oriented decisions, and then we have reliability. Here you see the three different networks in the same city or city area. On the upper left, we have power distribution network or electricity distribution networks. On the lower left, we have the gas distribution network, and on the uh, right left, uh, the lower right, we have the water distribution network, which these three different networks and grids are uh, connected or associated together through that GIS infrastructure. And here we have the reliability evaluation results. As you see here, we assessed total cost, capex, opex, cost of unsaved energy for different situations and for different scenarios from the lower side to upward. We have reliability oriented, resilience oriented, reliability with um, low impact, high probability, and reliability for high impact, low probability events, which shows the uh, performance of the simulation and calculation. For the conclusions, we saw the functional integration of reliability and resiliency as reliability, followed by a practical implementation of switch placement, and then structural integration was introduced to integrate electricity, water, and electricity, gas, and water. And the two-dimensional functional structural integration, followed by practical implementation in that small part of a smart city. And reliability oriented and resiliency oriented models, as well as the proposed resiliency oriented model, were developed for that evaluate the performance of electricity, water, energy, water under the influence of different events. And adopting reliability approach, despite the increased cost, brings about a relative improvement in reliability and resilience criteria. It's obvious that we should pay a price to have a better reliability and resilience together. We started with the holistic security, and we finally go back to the same holism and integration by a verse from Rumi. The parts turn their faces toward the whole. The nightingales are in love with the face of the rose. Let me read it in Persian, in the original language of the Rumi. جزوها را جزوها را رویها سوی کل است. بلبلان را عشق سوی بلبل است. Thank you very much for your attention. Uh, Dr. Razi, I'm finished and I'm ready for any questions or comments.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your nice presentation. If there is any question or additional things, please feel free to raise your hand and then I can give the mic, or you can write in the chat box. Is there any question or something? If not, I can take a question. First question. I was wondering for this reliability and resiliency topic, for example, we have N-1 criteria for the power systems, reliability. But when we are going to integrate this planning of the reliability resiliency, we should steer to conventional approach for calculation of reliability in the system level, or we need some kind of another approach like integrating with power flow and this kind of things.
Yeah, thank you very much for your distinct question. Uh, Actually, as I said, the modeling and calculation process for reliability and resiliency, according to the best of our knowledge and according to the analysis we presented in this talk, is not mergeable. So that n minus 1 or n minus I criteria for uh, the system redundancy uh, uh, still remains, but at the end, since the decisions made in those different processes are fused in the decision fusion, that might change the results in some of the aspects. So we could check if or whether that n minus one, for example, is still in place or not. It should be, let's say, for most of the places or most of the system in place, but it might be compromised for a better resiliency um, against the reliability.
Okay. Okay. And one follow-up question, not follow-up, maybe separate question. We have, for example, design for reliability. Do you think for a resiliency topic, it should be considered in the design phase too?
Yes, sure. Let's consider a situation. We have a company which produces something, let's say, uh, according as your expertise, a switch, a power system switch, or something else, let's say transformer, a car, or anything else. Uh, Mostly, uh, design is targeted for durability and reliability for the normal operating conditions. Um, but according to the changes in the environment, the changes in the systems, we have uh, extreme weather conditions as we had in this summer in Europe and in States and in every many places in world. Uh, we have higher temperatures, which are somehow an examples of extreme weather, which makes the system out of the normal conditions. So the system's design or components design should be aligned not only with the reliability as a criterion, but also with the resiliency, which means that that element or let's say entity or thing, generally speaking, uh, it should act and operate in good condition when the situation is normal, but it also should or expected to endure when the situation is worsened according to the catastrophes or uh, abnormal conditions.
Yeah, thank you so much. But one follow-up question, just for curiosity, to the best of your knowledge, is there, because for the reliability, we all know there is IEC standard, IEEE standard, the component level, and then component should pass for the design. I was wondering, is there any kind of requirement standard in the IEC, SIGRE, IEEE, and so on about this topic, or not yet defined?
Well, actually, many of the reliability standards, especially those ones who lead to uh, uh, the the tests which are uh, may destructive tests. For example, the voltage withstand. or temperature withstand tests. They are actually resiliency kind of resiliency tests because for example, for a component which operates in 220 volts, low voltage, for let's say a home appliance. uh, we have in most of the IC tests, we have voltage withstand test, and also temperature withstand test, and also for the ingress protection IP standards, we have the tests for the abnormal conditions. For example, as I said, for the 220 voltage apparatus, we have 2 kilovolt voltage withstand test. It is this kind of test which might be destructive. Uh, they are a sort of resiliency test. So humans or public have been aware of these abnormal and catastrophic situations, but the term, the resiliency term, especially in the engineering sphere, is somehow, let's say, somehow new, not that new, like 20 years uh, have been in attention or more attention. And it is expected that the standards would be uh, uh, updated for the abnormal and catastrophic situations which occur.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, I asked too many questions. Yeah, any question from audience or would like to know? Yeah, please feel free to raise your hand, and then I can give. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, let me wait to give you this. Yeah, I'm looking at here. Too many screens. I'm looking for where is it exactly? Okay, found it finally. Yes, please. I give you the mic. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's clear.
Good. Thank you very much for the very nice presentation, and thank you, Adi, for the organization. So my question is maybe one step back. So we used to, because of the problem of analytical computation efforts and analytical difficulties, we used to have like Monte Carlo simulations, or let's say simulation-based, event-based simulations for to find some reliability indices on the performance of a system. I'm talking about the power system side. On the resiliency side, however, we are more in favor or somehow biased to have simulation based on the operating points. So doing how the system is restoring after how much time. So we have more like transient simulations, power system dynamic simulations to see, for instance, in case of a blackout or partial blackout or a disconnection from the main grid, whether or how or after how long the system is coming back. Now, is there this joint analysis of reliability and resiliency also concern a general framework for generating some relevant scenarios for simulations? Or to what extent we should actually focus on generation of relevant scenarios where we have a good representation of high impact, low probability, low impact, high probability events.
Okay, may I?
Thank you. Mm. Yes, please, Ali.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, thank you for your good and deep question. As I say, this my suggestion is of considering both reliability and resiliency together. Is not a It's a very young idea, and the first paper on this idea has been published in 2024. So, according to our experience and knowledge, we have reached to the conclusion that we still, at the moment right now, cannot methodologically mix those two processes. So we should do the analysis and also study and the planning differently in two decoupled different analysis. So we're not expected still to mix the HILP and LIHP scenarios, uh, at least for the planning. But for the assessment, it is plausible and considerable that a mix of those two set of scenarios would be considered to assess the system ability to withstand the failures in both normal and abnormal conditions, but we have not worked on that yet. But it's a good hint for future work. I mean, for according to the best of our knowledge, for the planning, we can't still mix it, but for the assessment after the planning, for the assessment of what has been planned, uh, it's a nice idea for the future work to assess the system for a mixture of both scenarios.
Correct.
Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
the for your answer. It's more clear. I very much like your answer on distinction between the planning phase and the assessment phase and how it is relevant to have this general framework of scenario generation for the assessment phase. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your nice question because it raised a new future work idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Any other question? Okay. Then thank you, Aliroza, for your nice presentation. I really enjoy about the vision you actually provided and nice actually the discussions what we had it here. And thank you from all for attending. I hope you find it helpful. And I for sure we have the other seminars for different topics, different perspective on the reliability and resiliency, or even reliability in principle. And yeah, you can follow the. I will share via the LinkedIn of IEEE Switzerland chapter, and so on. And I hope I can see you again in the other webinars. Yeah, and wish you a nice day. And thank you again, Ali Reza, for your time and effort putting on the preparation of the webinar.
I
Yeah,
would
thank
like
you and
to
have a nice
also
day.
thank you for initiating an invitation and hosting this event. And also thank you everybody who is here. And I enjoyed also the discussion. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye.